Alrighty. I think we're streaming now. Alright, here we go. Welcome to my stream. Can I get the chat? There we go. Okay. Alright, whatever. So, this is a bit of a let's all see what goes on behind the scenes when I make one of these videos. So I think we should start by getting a listen of the Cloaker voice lines.
We call this a difficulty tweak.
Alright. Let me just get just gonna look through my downloads folder, see if I've downloaded these voice lines already. Doesn't look like I did download it. Very sad. If I had to look up Cloaker. Oh no, I did download some, that's right. Okay. Yeah, let's have a look at this.
Wow.
Ooh, that's loud. I'm gonna turn all of these down, or should I just use, yeah, playback level 20%.
Wow, that was a nice workout. I think I'll have a protein drink and hit the shower. We call this a difficulty tweak. Wow, that was a nice workout.
So, I've actually looked at this a little bit already, and one of the first things that stood out to me, because there's more, it's more than just amplification going on with this effect. It's not just loud. You've got this like, it sounds like someone's like running their fingers along a pipe with like bumps on it or something. And it reminded me of we're going after the rat. Bane's voice line. Let me play it to you. Here we go.
Finally, we're going after the rat. The fake screwed Hawks wants to screw us all. Time to put him down. We know he's currently bunkering down in an FBI safe house outside the city. These safe houses are usually built along the same lines. Nice big houses, grounds, 24-hour security, and most...
Okay, you get the idea. I have a feeling that the Cloaker voice lines are using essentially like a similar filter to Bane's voice line, but with an added like an added filter going on. You know, whatever that filter is, it's turning like a tiny like a tiny click of audio. It's turning what should be just like a simple static line into this. I can't really explain it better than that. So, if I record something... Oh.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Right. Yes, I had already... Oh. Oh, never mind then. What should we start with? Surely, like, you know, a limiter. Make it loud. I'll play it loud. And then I do have a plugin, so this will be the first time I'm using a plugin, but I think it's important. Mbit Fun. Okay. What did I say in my notes here? Okay, so this is what I had written initially after like listening to it for 20 minutes. I had decided that there's a bit crush going on, and by bit crush I mean it sounds like it's coming out of a cheap plastic toy or like a, you know, Nintendo DS, that it's got that kind of low quality sound, and it's a particular low qualityness. It's not just lowering the bitrate, because when you whisper, when you start whispering, or like when a slight noise happens, you get kind of these like flakes of audio, like going but very quietly. It's like Discord kind of cutting you out when you're speaking too softly. It's that sort of thing going on. And it reminded me of the Bane's radio voice effect. Finally, we're going after the rat. Then there's like reverb going on, which turns the things into the longer, into these. A little bit like a toilet cubicle. That's what I said here. And welcome if you're watching. Unfortunately, there's no convenient way for me to check the chat. Oh, thank you, J. Henry. Yep, I will try upload this. I might delete it. This is really just an experiment to see to see if streaming works, which it does. I'm very pleased about this information. Anyway, if you're watching this and you've got any suggestions for me on how to do this effect, please let me know. Alright. Yeah, that's so annoying. I had the chat box kind of up somewhere. Now I can't see how to get it back. Very annoying. Ah, whatever. So...
we call that a difficulty tweak.
So that's our recorded line. Apply. Cloaker.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Okay, so let's just forget the macro for a second. What I want to do What I often do, usually like the first thing I do with like all the combined voice effects and so on, is I figure out kind of what high pass and low pass filters to use. How do I do that? Select the audio. Analyze plot spectrum. And I hope this is all of them that I've selected. And I just take a look at this for a bit. So what is this purple mountain range looking thing? It is a it is the range of frequencies in the audio that we've selected. So on the left hand side we have the volume. So you might notice that like right at the edge of this audio it dips down. It's like a cliff. It goes all the way down to -90. So basically there is nothing that's like above, well, what's that going to be? 1500 hertz. That's like a hard cutoff right there. Okay. But even before that, like everything after 7000 hertz, I think this is pretty close to 7000. Everything after 7000 is at -66. So it's actually like pretty much stops here. So I might look at this and think, okay, this effect needs a low pass. Low pass makes it lower. A low pass at 7,000, and a high pass of, oof, I'm not really sure because it's kind of unclear what's going on over here. I might look at this and be like, I'll put a high pass up at 100 hertz, but make it like a very shallow runoff. So instead of 48 decibels, it's like, so which would be like a sheer cliff face. A roll off of like 6 decibels would be like a gradual slope that just goes down. I think the stuff that's going on the left side here is all part of the effects that happen after the low pass and high pass. So I'm probably gonna just try like a sheer cliff at 100 hertz, so 100 to 7000, and then see what happens. Alright, so we'll add that to our notes. This seems to be like the common range of audio, and if we try it and it sounds awful, we can always change it later. Effect. Yeah, I'm not too impressed with. Well, I'm still learning basically. Like, Audacity changed the menu of the effects. Instead of one big long list, they've got it into like all these different categories, which I suppose is like not a bad change. It makes it a little more organized. You can ignore the stuff you don't want to use. A little easier. High pass filter. Yep, so we'll keep it at 48, but if it sounds bad, we'll change it. And low pass. Low pass. There we go. We wanted 7,000 for that. Yes.
We called that a difficulty tweak.
Alright. So now all that needs to happen is just it needs to be a whole lot louder. Limiter is great for this. Where is limiter? There we go. Yes. Play it loud usually isn't loud enough, so let's aim for that. Let's just see what happens there.
We called that a difficulty tweak.
Alright, that's pretty good. You can hear the fan or like my computer in the background of this.
We called that a difficulty tweak.
Oh no. Did you hear that? This sounds different to the preview. So if I go undo, I go limiter. and then preview.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
That's a whole lot louder than if I just hit apply and then listen to it.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
I'm pretty sure this is a bug, so if I were to apply it again...
We call that a difficulty tweak.
There we go. So, alright, that's a bug for you, Audacity, to fix. The preview on limiter instead previews what it would sound like if you apply 2 of it. If you apply the effect twice instead of once.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Alright, so at this volume, the silence isn't really that distracting, but ordinarily in an ideal world I would have selected some silence and gone sorry, noise reduction, get noise profile, select the clip and repeat noise reduction, which yeah,
we call that a difficulty tweak.
okay. Now so I've got something downloaded here for a while called Mbit Fun. Here it is. This was a whole bunch of free plugins I got for Audacity a while ago. Melda production. You can probably look it up yourself. I'm going to start with this. But, you know, this isn't ideal. Like, look at this menu. It's a bit like, how are ya? And it's also like, it's free, but please upgrade. And usually I don't like having that in my workspace. If it works, it works. So let's figure out how this works. I think this number up here, 6, this is like the most important number on this menu. If we bring it down to 4 and then preview.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Yeah, you can hear like the fuzziness starting. If I lower it to 2.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
That actually sounds pretty good. Maybe 3.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
I might try 3. I might try 3 to start with. Mbit Fun 3. Alright.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
So you can kind of, if we zoom in, we can see that it's like, it's having an effect. This is what I was kind of referring to again with like these are the little like flakes of audio. Now that we've crushed it, let me Control Z. That's what it was before. Let me redo. That's the after. And these things, we just need to figure out a way to turn them into this. Alright, have we got any new comments? Mr. Nimble Bear. Yes, hello.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Well, let's go to the next step then, because we'll fix it up. If that's the problem, like a lot of just the reason these take so long is usually because like I get caught up with like, oh, but it doesn't sound perfect, and then I just end up like getting stuck on a step and never going back to it. But then if you just kind of push through that, I guess it's like everything in life. You just, you know, what's the saying? Perfection is the enemy of good enough. And no one really wants perfect. What people want is good enough. Let's go to reverb. Because I think that's going to be the next step. Effect. Reverb.
We call that.
Oh, that is not the effect I want. I want like bathroom.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
But that's still too kind of echoey. Clean?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
What we want is a small room size, so like 1. I don't think a pre-delay is necessary. Reverberance? Lower that a bit. Damping, we'll see what that sounds like at 100. Tone low and tone high. Let's just let me set them both to 50. Wet gain, probably 0. See, this is a lot of what it is. It's just like, I don't know, well, let's just trial and error. Stereo width, 0. Or 1, because it breaks if you do 0. Let me show you. Just prepare your ears.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Yeah, so I hope your left ear really enjoyed that. I don't know why, but it just defaults to becoming mono if the stereo width is 0. If you change it to 1,
we call that a difficulty tweak.
Instead it gets both ears and it's like as narrow as possible. So yeah, that Audacity, that's another bug for you to fix. Thank you. If we set it to 50,
we call that a difficulty tweak.
Yeah, I preferred it as 1. Okay. Damping is too much though. Let's do that.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
You can't really tell the difference.
We call that a difficulty tweak. We call that a difficulty tweak.
Just kind of makes it slightly more full. But I want it to sound like the inside of a pipe. Maybe let's try this.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Okay, it's a bit too big of a pipe. 50.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
That's getting very close. This is. I hope you can kind of see what I'm trying to go for here.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Alright, that was pretty good.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Let's try this.
We call that a difficulty tweak. We call that a difficulty tweak.
I wonder if this makes a difference.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Awful.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Let's try that.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Ooh, I liked that. Let's try this.
We call that a difficulty tweak. We call that a difficulty tweak.
I think this one sounded the best. What do you reckon?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Tone high all the way and tone low all the way down. We could do that.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Doesn't really do a whole lot for us though. Alright, well let's just...
We call that a difficulty tweak. We call that a difficulty tweak.
I will just change it a little bit. I should probably put on some music or something. Next time I stream. I want a little bit of this.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Alright. Let's... So, in case we lose those settings that we've worked so hard to get, I'm going to add it to our macro now. because when you insert a new what am I saying? When you insert an effect like this into a macro, it will just use the settings that you most recently used. So if I go edit, these should all be the settings that we were using, and it'll save it. So that's just a fun little way to save yourself some time. We'll also put in the high pass and low pass filters while I can think of it. The two goats of Audacity. If no one else got my back, if no one else got your back, just remember high pass and low pass got your back. It's a very, yeah. Those two effects are like the very, very quick way to make something sound pretty good. Oh yeah, and I get comments sometimes about like, oh the macro doesn't work. Sometimes it's because the like language localization is messing it up a bit. So for example, limiter, like it didn't always used to like look like that. I think legacy limiter now looks like what it used to look like. And so if you try and export this, you know, it'll give you a text file with these settings, but it's not going to like be able to be interpreted. If that makes sense, I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, if the macro doesn't work for you, simplest thing is just to make it yourself, because your computer will know how to write. Your computer will know like how to put it in a language that your computer can understand. All right. Any comments? Yo, hey, Mr. Fazbear. How's it going?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
If we go back here.
We call this a difficulty tweak.
It's so much like this voice line is so messy. Like look at that.
We call this a difficulty tweak.
It's like it's loud. It's got audio artifacts I think in there. Like
Difficulty tweak.
it's how do you get that?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Like we've got some audio artifacts in there, but they don't sound as high. They don't sound as twangy. Ours sounds kind of low and fuzzy.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
We call this a difficulty tweak.
What if we did the high pass now, after the reverb?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
No, it doesn't help that much. What was the last step on my notes? A lot of overdrive distortion limiter. Maybe that's just what we need. Let's try distortion. That's always fun to do. Prepare your ears if you have any. What is this?
We call that a difficulty tweak.
I don't remember using that, so I'm just gonna look at this.
We call that a...
Whoa, okay, yeah. Sorry everybody. I did warn you. Overdrive is very volatile.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Hello? Apparently the stream disconnected. Oh, no, we're back. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna take a bite out of the forbidden fruit and see what it sounds like at distortion 100. Please lower your volume. I'm going to lower my volume. Here we go.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
That wasn't so bad.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Let's just, go with 10. Can't go wrong with that.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
Oh, again, the preview is doing it twice. Distortion. Let's put that up to, let's say 25.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
It does not sound quite accurate yet.
We call this a difficulty tweak. We call this a difficulty tweak.
We call that a difficulty tweak.
And you can come back for more anytime you want.
You can come back for more anytime you want. You can come back for more anytime you want. You can come back for more anytime you want.
It just needs to be louder.
You can come back for more anytime you want.
See, I feel like, although this is like clearly not what we're going to do in the end, that like, it has the same spirit,
You can come back for more anytime you want.
Like in the background of this audio, like I can see the answer, like the original like Cloaker voice line trying to break through. Like he's on the other side of like a sewer grate and he's just like clawing his way out. That's what this is. That's what this represents. It's behind these bars somewhere, trying to break free. I think my effect has too much frequency, so it needs a bit of a harsher low pass and high pass, and I would say it needs to just be a lot more distorted. Let's go to the macro once more. We didn't, that would explain it, we didn't put the distortion in. Distortion. Could we edit these maybe? Maybe 6,000, see how it goes.
You can come back for more anytime you want.
I liked that. I liked how it's kind of all like garbled. Got that Call of Duty lobby microphone quality vibe.
You can come back for more anytime you want.
However, it's getting a little bit too muffled. I can't hear what I'm saying.
And you can come back for more anytime you want.
The beauty of the original voice lines is that you can still understand what he's saying, even though like it's potato mic.
You can come back for more anytime you want.
So I'm going to say macro. There we go. We can. Keep this at 7,000. You know what? Maybe this can go higher. This can be like 200.
You You can go back for more anytime you want.
Alright, the distortion might be just a smidge too far. Smidge too much. Da, 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 da.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
I'm pretty happy with this.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
And you can come back for more anytime you want.
Oh, but it's different.
You can go back for more.
It's the bit. It's the It's bit fun. I don't think it's 3. I don't think it's 3. What could it be? What could it be? Let's try 2.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
Ooh.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
Now it's too illegible. Let me try 4.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
What do we think? Was 3 good or is 4 better?
You can go back for more anytime you want.
And you can come back for more anytime you want.
You can go back for.
Sorry.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
Ooh, hang on.
You.
Oh, we're doing it. This is what I talked about. This is like a... It's nearly there. It's nearly there. I think all of this needs to be louder.
You can go back for more anytime you want.
I don't know. Look, I'm pretty happy with what the progress we made. I'm not gonna say we're finished with this project. It probably needs like another hour or 2 of tinkering. But yeah, thank you for making it this far. I hope this kind of reveals to you a little bit of the inner workings behind what goes into some of these videos and my thought processes. If you have any questions, let me know. My mic's a bit quiet. In the original, it sounds like there's another track layered on top. Sounds pretty close already. Thank you. Yeah, that's the problem with Audacity. It's such a basic program. It's very, very difficult to replicate any of like the industry standard stuff. Like, so for Half-Life Alyx, that was insanely difficult. I still have no idea how like those videos got so many views, because like whenever I listen to like the original and versus my one, I'm just like, it's night and day. That like Audacity is just so limited in like it can't really do like complicated vocoders. But like I said before, We're not looking at perfection, we're looking at good enough. And right now, I think we are pretty close to good enough. Pretty close. I might need to do some thinking. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And if you liked seeing me live stream, I will consider doing it again in the future. So please let me know. Goodbye now, and have a very